afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fast Facts and Features with me, the brand ambassador, Jeanette for Ethical Flooring. This is a recording. Due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to go live, and we wanted to talk about this topic. So hello, Kevin.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh, yes. Oh, it is. It is a good afternoon because the topic that I want to talk to you about is I see little tiny letters behind your head, which is very interesting. Is a couple of weeks ago when we started talking about maintenance of your floors and how seasonal changes, you have different maintenance issues, you know, from summer to spring to fall to winter to keep your floors looking fantastic. And one of the well-known magazines came across my threshold the next day, and there was very fine print about different products and how to use them. And it was such a big, bold information, let's say, to the consumer with very, very small print in the advertisement or in the update. And I was like, wow, like what a consumer take those steps to make sure that they're reading the fine print. So let's talk about the fine print that can happen in the flooring industry.
I'd love to, because I've spent better part of 10 years reading the fine print on all of our manufacturers and suppliers of adhesives and leveling compounds and all of this kind of stuff. And boy, oh boy, the fun things that you find that you sure need to know. So fly at her.
Well, so what would be one of the most common misconceptions, say on a contract going out or an estimate going out to a customer, that a customer in the past has glossed over and they really haven't paid attention to?
Yeah, I mean, we, at Ethical Flooring, we have a very, let's call it comprehensive contract. And it's been built up from all of my years of experience and also my team's experience. And really what we were trying to do, it's not to protect us or to protect the consumer. Though in fact it's doing both, but it's really laying out kind of the rules of the game, right? We want to beforehand, before any work even begins in the home, we've laid out and we've presented to the client at the time of contractual signing, and they're welcome to either agree to it or not. Everybody does, but the option is there. And it's basically a bunch of if-then scenarios, right? Like it's almost like computer code. So if this happens, then we do this. If this happens, then we do this. And it's, like I said, it's built on, 20 plus years of running flooring projects. And so almost everything we can think of is contained within it, but it's really an insurance policy for both us and the client saying, if this happens, we've already pre-agreed that this will be how we resolve it, right? And so I know there's a lot of anxiety going into renovation projects, as perhaps there should be, at least a little bit is probably healthy. And we don't want to run into a scenario where we feel, or the client feels, that we're making stuff up on the fly or that we're taking advantage of them or anything along those lines. We want full transparency from the get-go. And because of that, our contracts can be a little bit on, but like I said, it's there to protect everybody involved. So in terms of what's some of the fine print, I mean, none of it is in fine print. It's all in 12-point font, ready to easily seen. But some of the things that you really, really want to look out for is potential additional charges, because it is construction, especially when it's a renovation. Almost all times there's going to be some surprises or things that came up that were unforeseen or weren't foreseeable, and some change or some improvement or something's going to have to be done, right? And so this is, I was thinking from my end, if I'm the client, when and if this happens, I want to have clear rules of the game on, okay, well, how is this going to get charged out, right? Like how much more potentially could I be paying, and at what rate am I going to be paying it? And I don't want someone to just make it up on the fly as they go. So if you're perusing a contract, whether it's with a flooring contractor or really any contractor, look at what the potential additional charges could be. They're probably legitimate. Like in our case, subfloor prep or leveling is a huge part of our business, and we just don't know what that is up front. But you definitely want to have some contractual obligations on what rate or how that additional work is going to be charged at. Don't leave that as an open-ended.
So what about say hours of operation? Because I do know that contractors and homeowners are like, I just want to move in. I just want to move in. Can your guys work on a Saturday? Can they work on a Sunday? Can they work on a Monday or a stat holiday or something like that? What about fine print like that?
Yeah, we don't get into, because there's so many variables involved in that. Like every project is so different, right? And it's, we want to be flexible where possible, but also, we have to obviously respect the time of, sometimes it's the neighbors. If you're in a condominium, there's certain hours that you can work. Sometimes people will push the tradesmen to work, like you said, weekends or holidays. And, I greatly dissuade people from doing that, because the last thing you want is a subcontractor or a contractor working on your home who feels rushed or pushed or exhausted. I mean, I flat out at the end of a week of working with your body for 5 days, you're tired, right? And, they may show up on the 6th day or the 7th day because you're pushing them to get the job done, but that might not be to your benefit. So, at Ethical Flooring, we always try to balance humanity with our team members versus performance and getting the job done. And, obviously I think we do a good job of that. Our clients like us, and obviously our team members like us as well too. And that's critical. And
I would also say a lot of the building permits for the various different areas dictate sometimes is 8 to 10 or 8 to 8 or 8 to 6, Monday to Friday, nothing Saturday, nothing Sunday. That all of a sudden, if you're sliding in there thinking that you're going to usurp the rules or the permit, nothing worse to having somebody from the city come on your job site when you don't want them. And then I'm sure they nitpick everything afterwards, that if you're not following what your permit is outlaid to be, I wonder where else you are, not following the rules of in the construction industry.
Yeah, that's why I don't get involved in general contracting, because there's a lot of permits and a lot of things involved, and wow, it can be difficult. And just even going through some building on my own home, working with the city to get the building permits was, I mean, I don't want to swear on public TV, so I won't. It was difficult. So do not invite problems onto yourself. And yeah, we just have a nice rhythm, and it's, it's always respecting the people that are doing the work and balancing it with the needs of the homeowner or the client. But, Tanya and I have always taken the tact, if you treat people well and treat them like, honored human beings, and respect the work that they do and them as people, and you get the best work out of people in that type of environment. And, if people are pushing for a time frame or, get it done one day earlier, I say, maybe you saved one day now, but you will live with the end. You'll live with the end result, for the remainder of your time in that home. Or, sometimes people say, well, I really want this floor, but it's 3 months out and I only have 2.5 months. So I'm going to pick a second product, right? Something I didn't really love as much. And just based on my experience, I coach people to say, you know what, maybe it's like a month or half a month now that you're out, but you're going to regret this decision for the next 10 years that you're in the home, right? So sometimes the urgency that people feel in construction is not, I've seen it. Once that urgency dies down, some people will regret the decisions they made in that urgency. So yeah, just take a deep breath, calm, everything will be done. If you're working with a good trades company, they have your best interests in mind. They will finish it. And you'll be happy with the result. That's, whether it's a day or two extra or what you had hoped or wanted, that's in 3 months from now, that's inconsequential. Trust me. It's not, you just want a good result.
True enough. So let's leave it there. And what I am listening, and I'm going to paraphrase back, and what I've gleaned from this, Kevin, is it is the ultimate responsibility of you to look at the fine print and ask the suppliers to clarify. So you're going up to ask them the tough questions. So therefore your consumer is fully aware during the process. So realistically, they shouldn't have to worry about the fine print because everything is transparent.
That is what they pay us for. So we, right, with our experience and my research, you know, through our offer to them to come into relationship together, because it's really what we're doing. As we come into a contractual relationship, we're coming into a relationship. And, you know, we've done everything from our end to be as transparent as possible. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, we don't want to ever mislead someone and say that, you know, this is not a reality during your project when it is, right? Like, right, if you're working in your home, it could potentially be dusty. That's part of doing construction, right? So even simple things like this, we want to lay it all on the table and say, this is how it works. You know, we try to mitigate everything we can and this and that, but, you know, based on our years of experience, this is pretty much how it's going to go. And, you know, we want to lay that out. We don't want anybody to come into a relationship with us feeling, you know, misled or that they weren't aware of that. So yeah, I mean, my bit of advice would be, I actually, as a consumer now, if I were to get into contractual relationship with someone, there's actually not enough verbiage or enough rules of the game there. It actually makes me nervous because now there's all sorts of room for interpretation when things potentially might get difficult, right? And it's, I feel much more confident knowing that, hey, this is how it's going to go. And if this happens, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, I've taken that mentality into our relationship with our clients. So like I said, people like it. It's worthwhile. It's helpful. And, but it takes, you know, 10 minutes to read it maybe. But it's worthwhile. If you're going to be spending tens of thousands of dollars with someone, absolutely. Make sure you understand what the process is going to be like.
Perfect. Thank you so much for indulging me on this conversation, Kevin. It's fascinating because we all get those paper inserts in products that we buy, or you sign up on a website and there's, did you read the terms and conditions? And you click the box and you don't go into it. And to me, a good ethical, and pardon the pun there, ethical business is doing their homework on their side for the customer, and the customer shouldn't have to worry about the fine print and have their project taken care of properly.
That's what they've hired us for, right? Our job is to be the geeks and to read all of the technical documents. And, you know, it's a shock to, as team members have joined here and they've worked potentially at other flooring companies, you know, and they kind of come in line with my understanding and requirements. Some of them are like, whoa, like we have to read this stuff? I'm like, yes, you do have to read this stuff.
So and tuck in, get a cup of coffee because you're in for some knowledge right now.
Yeah. And then eventually they understand, you know, why, and it's helpful and it allows us to offer the best product to our client without them having to worry about it. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what? Let's cover shiny object syndrome when we meet again next month. Okay.
I love it. Sounds good. We'll see you then.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.